Okay. Hey guys, didn't plan on doing this, but I figure I better do this while I'm still figuring out what in the world I'm doing here. Okay, so I've been working with the A10M now for the last probably 2 hours, trying to get a Cura profile that'll actually work. And I think I got it figured out. Yeah, let me go ahead and jump into see if there's a chat that I need to open up. I actually wasn't planning on smashing the live button. Oh. Hey Eddie, how you doing? Let me get the chat opened up here. Pop it out. Move it over there. No, not there. Stop it. Down, down. There we go. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I didn't even tweet this out. I wasn't really planning on doing this. Okay, so a couple things I need to clarify from last night. And let me move to the front of the printer and we'll get going on this. Let's see. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Let's fire this printer up. Yep, you two are the only ones that care about me. Thank you. Okay. So, first off, last night, whenever I set the E-steps, I was an idiot. So, if you go to, let's see, I think it was under Control, Motion. Oh, wrong one. Control, Motion, Steps. Now, last night I set to 475, but there's one step I forgot to do. Once I got to 475, I needed to go back to up here to store settings. I forgot to do that. So whenever I got in here today and started out, I was right back to the very beginning. Turned out all I had to do was do store settings. That would have saved me all the trouble. But I reset my settings back to what they were last night, and so that helped out a lot. So now, next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and start this to heating up. PLA, which, by the way, theoretically, I've never tried this yet. I go Control, Temperature, Nozzle. I should be able to fix that so where it will heat up to where I want to heat up instead of at a lower temperature. I wonder if this will work. Oh, there we go. Preheat. Put those settings there. Store settings. Oh, nice. Okay. Now that I got all that fixed up. Okay, so let's let that heat up and I move over here. Eddie, my goodness, thank you so much. The rate things are going, I'll probably be drinking before you know it. Oh, I guess it would help if I move the camera back. Well, don't matter. I'm not going to go back to the camera at the moment. Let's jump over here now to Cura. So here was an interesting one. Now, I kept having a lot of problems last night. And, okay, so I've had all this all fixed up. You know, I had my layer height. I had my wall thickness. One thing that I did not even think about, and that's you have to go in and enable final printing temperature. Because this, by default, is 190. And that's where I was getting all my pauses, where it kept on pausing between layers and stuff. With that, every time I just go to switch from one to the other, it would take and it would want to end at 190, so it dropped the temperature down, and then it'd start to pause until it got back up to 205. Which, by the way, for sake of everything, I'm moving this down to 200 because I think my filament needs to be at a cooler temperature. Okay, flow 100, initial layer 110. I've set my retraction distance to 6 millimeters, retraction speed to 35 per second. Retraction minimal travel, of course, is 5 millimeters, same as what I normally do. Standby temperature, I need to switch that back to 200 because that's another thing I enabled with standby temperature. I got to make sure that was enabled. And then nozzle switch retraction distance I have set for 6 on 35 millimeter. That way, when it switches from one color to the next, it retracts the one and holds it at 6 millimeters back. Just enough to kind of pull it back. Print speed, I'm going 60 and then 40 and 90 and initial layer speed of 30. And see, what else did I do different this time? Oh, yeah. So I went ahead and I went into my settings up here and I set everything for the printer to be 1.75 millimeter filament. There was one more setting that I went ahead and I brought in because I think that was my issues, but I did actually do a reset on the profile. So it started all over again. But I did find this one. Now, this is a printer setting that you can actually get from the marketplace. You just go to marketplace, go to printer settings. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go plugins. There we go. Go to printer settings, and you actually download this plugin. Once you download the plugin, when you go over here to any of your settings, if you go all the way down, it gives you extra settings under this printer settings plugin. One of them being the diameter. So if I would have actually, since that one was hidden before, like we were thinking last night, in Cura 3.6.0, they did away with the extra setting that was normally up here and is under material. They used to have that extra setting where you could set the filament. If that setting is missing and you're needing to change that value, you can actually download that plugin, and then that gives you this one right here where you can change your diameter. Anyway, I got everything all set up now. I think I've got a working profile. Everything I've done points toward it being a working profile. And I'm going to, let me double check one thing over here on the extruder too, because I don't think I changed my temperatures, which I didn't. I gotta pull up the chat here in just a moment. I just gotta finish getting this set up because I've been stressing the night trying to get this done because it's something that was just eating at me. Oh yeah. Another thing I added in too is I made the tower size 30 millimeters, so it's a lot more area for it to be printing on. By rights, I could probably just drop that down to 20, and the reason why is because down here for prime tower minimum volume, I'm having it where it's going to go through 15 millimeters of filament each time it changes color. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, so let's go ahead and prepare that. And then we're going to save that. And now let's stop sharing, go back over. What am I doing here? And bring the chat back up. There we go. Okay, so now let's go here and see if it prints. Okay. There. The dual color. Camera over to printer. And something like that. It sucks so much at moving cameras around. There. Oh. My goodness, who all have in there now? So we got
Eddie, we got Aaron, we got Rover, we got Paul. Hey, Paul. We have got 3D Medic. Thank you for joining. My goodness, we got a bunch of people up in here. Okay. So I did change the color of the filament. So I've got the neon yellow and I've got the lake blue, I believe it is. So that gives us enough of a color difference where we should be able to tell the difference. Why would they remove that setting? Because they're smarter than us, Eddie. It's because they are smarter than us. Oh, that's right. I didn't say your name right. Aaron. Okay, so that still does this stupid little thing right here. And that should be the only time it does that. And I don't know why or how to change that part, but we should be good on the rest. Did we see Tom's video on the printer bot? No, did not. Oh, Mr. Carroll Science, I think we did. I think. We will know shortly whether I'm going to be tar and feathered over doing the stream and it fail on me or whether I actually got this profile fixed. Okay, so I see where it's switching colors. And it looks like the E-steps are about right. I don't see the gaps in the print like I did last night. And once again, later on, I'll go back through and retest E-steps and make sure everything's accurate that way later on. But right now, I just want something that looks like a decent print. That's all I'm setting out for tonight. It has nothing to do with anything else except I just want to see a decent print. That's all. Let's turn on the light here. The E-steps was 475 is what I said on last night. And then today when I came out here, it turned out that it reverted back to the 325, I think it was. So I had to switch those back to 475. And then this time I actually saved it. Had I saved the settings before, I wouldn't have had to redo it today. I'm still having some retraction issues as far as the stringing between the parts. It doesn't look as bad as it did earlier because, yeah, I had all kinds of stringing earlier when I was playing around with the profile, and then I finally came on the last settings and figured them out. So hopefully this does it. Yeah, there's a lot of stringing with this nozzle, this setup. I honestly don't understand it. Well, I kind of do because the nozzle itself is a different design nozzle. Instead of being hollowed out like most nozzles are, it's got a very tiny little hole to it. So I can't see how retraction really helps prevent any of the oozing. That's one thing that's different about this one. I don't understand it. Trying to see if the colors look like they're staying separated or if it's needing more purging of some sort. I can't tell. That's Calvin. He probably doesn't realize I'm live yet. I doubt he subscribed to me. Honestly, cannot tell. I probably need to add more purge to it or something. Yeah, I think there is a heated chamber in the hot end. I think that's exactly what it is because everything comes out of one nozzle, and that's where a lot of the problems kind of arise. I think is from the single nozzle doing everything. And it's looking better than it did last night. Last night I was just getting just gaps over everything, and this time it's not. I don't see any gaps. It looks like everything's sealed up good. Yeah, I saw the purge bucket that Joe did. That's actually a pretty good idea. The only question I have about that is what happens when it fills up. That's my only question. If you left the bottom open on, I could see how I can maybe kind of scoot out the bottom. But I don't know. I'm sure he's got a good idea on it. I'm sure he's got figured out. I need to watch that video and see exactly how he did that. I just saw the pictures he shared on the Geeetech forum. But definitely an ingenious idea right there. Yeah, I definitely don't think I've got enough purge going on. So I definitely need to change that in the profile, add more purge. I actually was doing better when I was going with a 30 millimeter prime tower. In Cura, it looks like it has to be their purge tower. Now, I'm sure there's probably a way of changing that, and I would like to see a way of changing that. In fact, there might be. Let me look in their marketplace and see if there's anything that I could add in. Ooh, they have a plugin for custom supports? What? Let's see. Okay, I don't see one in the plugins it says it does that. But actually, let me check one thing here really quick before I say any more about that. Let's see. It'd be cool if they would let a person use something for another model for a purge tower. That would be a really good idea. I'm not seeing anything right offhand. Yeah, I think Prusa is probably the only one doing that. Yeah, Prusa is like the holy grail of 3D printers. And yeah, it comes with at a price. Software is free. I wonder if a person could use that software on this. Oh. Eddie's saying yes. We need to try that. Yes. I must try. I must try. Let's see. I feel like I'm doing something dirty here, going to his website looking for his software. Oh, good lord. Original Prusa i3 Mark III. The kit is $749. The printer pre-built is $999. Oh my lord. But then again, you are getting a Prusa. You're getting the best of the best. I think the only one above that's what, an Ultimaker? Which is definitely going to cost you more. Okay, why am I not seeing the software? It's got to be here. Download drivers and firmware. There's firmware. Other downloads. There's Cura settings. Oh, come on. Where is his software at? Okay, what am I missing here? I didn't even know he had Cura profiles for this printer. I always thought you had to use his firmware or his software. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Software. Slicer. Prusa edition. Ooh. Okay. Got it. Got it. The download happening now. Yes, see me CNC prices. Oh goodness. I've got some adjustments to make somewhere. Looks like dog meat. Definitely got to check the E-steps again and do some playing around here because something's not 100%. But hey, at least it's printing something solid this time instead of a see-through model. Mr. Caro Science. Oh no, it's only $99. Oh no. I'd much rather get a Hoonie. Oh goodness. Yeah, Paul. Eddie's right. It depends on what you want to do. And more importantly, how much do you want to spend doing it? If you want to print big, then you gotta go for a larger format printer. And then the question is, at that point, how much you want to spend on a large format printer? Do you want to get a Geeetech style printer, where you can print really big and honestly, for the price, they actually have a really big format printer, and it's not horrible. It's not horrible in price either for the amount of bill volume. Or do you want to go with like a CR10 style, what is it, $500 or something like that? Or like one of the other like TiVo or Artillery or one of those guys. $279. For $279, you're looking at, on average, about a 220 to 230 millimeter print bed, both ways, and about that much on height. In which case, I believe you're looking at probably Enders, or you're looking at like a Geeetech A20M style. I know you can get a Geeetech A20M for right at $200. I think Enders probably go for about the same price, maybe a little bit less. Like Mr. Carroll Science, go Ender 3 for 200. That's yeah. I would either go Ender 3 or I go Geeetech A20M. I definitely wouldn't go ANET. I can't bring myself to even say that. TiVo Tornado would be fine if you get one that's got the removable drivers. But if you get the one that's got the soldered in drivers like the one I've got, then yeah, I would pass. Although the print volume is huge. It's really good for the price. Aaron says, because Jimmy, once you go ANET, you never go back. Yeah, it's kind of hard to go back to your house afterward. At least until the insurance gets involved. It's getting there. It's not dialed in completely, but it's getting there. It's better than it was, but it's I think I need to go back to the E-steps again. I think it's over extruding, because I'm seeing some globs in areas where there shouldn't be globs. But at least I'm not seeing through the print. I'm not printing fishnet. And that's what I was getting last night. Yes, Mr. Carroll says, haha, you never go back because your house burned down while you were gone. Hey, George, what's up? How you doing, my friend? I didn't see you today. I'm watching my messed up profile mess up before my eyes here. At least I'm seeing two different colors printing. I'm seeing the extruders swapping back and forth. Yeah, I heard they cut hours like crazy. I heard the guy took over for Laura's knocked down to like 20 hours a week or something like that. Which I don't know how he's going to get all that done with that amount of time. It's amazing how they're going to expect him to do all the work that she did with like half the hours. That's just hilarious right there. Hey, has anybody heard if they accepted the offer? I didn't even get a chance to even look. What was that fell? Huh. One of the little beads from a from one of those bags, a little deskant bag fell out. On the E180, how can I say this in a really, 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 really nice way? I just wouldn't. Honestly, for the price and everything, as much as I love Geeetech and as much as I love their printers, there are a couple printers that they've made that I just have a hard time with. And no. Yes or no? No. Honestly, if you're going to be looking for that size printer, go for a Monoprice Select Mini version 2. You'll get a heated bed, which is something you won't get with an E180. You'll get a printer that just for the price is hard to beat it. Well, it used to be hard to beat. Now with the Ender 3, it's pretty much easier to between the Ender 3 and the A10. It's really easy to find a good printer for around that same price. Michelangelo, once again, you're with a printer that doesn't have a heated bed. Now that's fine for most prints, but it's one of those preference things. I personally like a heated bed, even though I print with PLA all the time. I like the heated bed because it gives you that little bit of extra security of your print actually surviving, where you're not depending on a piece of masking tape. I mean, sure, you can print with masking tape on a heated bed and have the double security. I am a sucker for the Geeetech super plates because of the material that they have on the glass plate. It really holds the prints really nice when it's hot, and then when it gets cool, it just flies right off of it, no problem at all. But that's just me. Yeah, if I remember right, the version 1, that one did not have a heated bed, did it? Yeah, and the version 2, didn't it have like an E3D hot end on it as well? On the Oh, it does. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, those printers just for the price that, especially at that time when they came out, they were really hard to beat. Just really hard. Wow, you saw one for $75. That is not bad at all. V2 is much better, but V1 can be upgraded easily. That's cool. Yeah, if you already have a monoprice, pretty much you've already got a printer. Even if the version 1, you've already got one that's excels on what the E180 would ever do for you. You would find yourself kind of regretting it later on, I believe. E180 is a good, I would say, beginner printer for a kid to get started with, but you'll outgrow it really fast. And I'm hoping by now they've got the firmware. In fact, I need to plug mine in, check the firmware, and see if they've upgraded the firmware to where it's a little bit more reliable than what it used to be. Yeah, definitely got to work on this profile some more. Flex filament is going to be really hard to use on a Bowden style printer. I hear it can be done, but I also hear it's really, really finicky. With that said, I've never even tried flexible filament, and I've got a few machines around here that have direct drive, which I hear works a lot better. In fact, that Artillery 3D, it's got a direct drive on it. So it'd be interesting to try it with that one. So Eddie says he hasn't had issues, and you just can't go fast with it. That's a good idea. Just slow it down. I've got this thing set to go at 50 millimeters tall, and it's supposed to take a little over an hour. And didn't even pay attention to what time I started the stream. About 40 minutes ago. Okay, so it's getting closer then. I just got to figure out how to see. So I increase the prime tower size to 30. I'll probably increase the minimum volume layer of the prime tower in order to purge enough material and take that up to about 20. Because it looks to me like it's just kind of like mixing the colors because I didn't purge enough out, which is all right. I'll get that figured out, and then I got to go back through the E steps again so that I'm not over extruding, and I think it'll be a pretty decent deal. While I'm here, just going to check something on the internet really quick here. Well, no news. Okay. I guess I have to wait till tomorrow to find out what they decided at my store or at my company. Yeah, we'll see. I think tomorrow they have to announce it to the courts what they decide, so they're probably still working on it. Yeah, I'm over extruding just a hair on this backside. It's you can see where it's bulging out and little things there. Hey, Paul, thank you for joining. Have a great night, my friend. Yeah, it's definitely over extruding, which it probably just needs to be turned down maybe about 10 E steps or something like that. But I'll measure the filament and play with it another time. Yes, it's never good to over extrude from your backside. When you over extrude on your backside, everything just goes bad. Yeah, they also got liquid for that too. Yes, it does. I didn't even bother to check and see if the cooling fan turned on. Yep, it did. Well, I guess I could have just looked in the camera. That'd have been the smart thing to do, huh? Oh, goodness. Well, I guess I could look at the screen and it will tell me how much further it's got to go here. Well, it's at 21 millimeters. So it's not even halfway. Artillery 3D, SWX1, Sidewinder, or TiVo Nearest, which would you recommend? I would like to see the TiVo Nearest. I'd really like to see that printer print. The TiVo, I believe, has a Bowden style extruder where the artillery is going to have a direct drive. I am a sucker for direct drive. But with that said, I would really have to see the TiVo to give it a direct comparison. I'd love to have the opportunity to check that one out. Yeah, I'm printing with neon yellow and lake blue, and I'm agreeing with you. It's not that noticeable. You can see a little bit of color change, but I don't have enough. I don't have it purging enough in order for it to be a really good color change. Looking for a 300 by 300 by 400 size printer. I definitely want to do some more printing with the Artillery 3D to see exactly how it will hold up, especially with larger prints. I've yet to do a really big print on it, and I do have plans to do one here probably within the next week. And so I'll be sharing that with you guys here soon. It's just this printer came in the door and I wanted to do an unboxing and first print, and this is going to be the first print I'm going to let complete. The dog started out really good, but it deserved more than just. And I would really love to know what did they do to this G code in order to make that print so well with the E steps so far off. All I can figure is they must have known exactly what amount of extrusion to add into it in order to make up for the E steps being off. Either that or somehow it bypasses the internal software in order to print this. I don't know which. But there's something that got lost in the translation between a slice model that they created to put on the SD card and what you do on another program. That's because there's no way 325 or 350 E steps. There's no way. Just no. Eddie, good point. You can set the E steps in the starting script. That would be mean. But you know what? There's something that was done with this because everybody says how well the model that's on the SD card prints compared to everything else that they've printed. Has anybody seen that 3D printer that they have on Facebook? I think it's called Two Trees or Three Trees 3D. And it's another company from out of China, and they make one that's the kind of like my Meat Creator 2, where it has the bed that drops down, almost like an Ultimaker type setup. I've been looking at that thing. I'd love to try one of those out, but I don't even think they'd even give me the time of day, to be honest with you. Yeah, the Two Trees, and it's is it called the Sapphire, I believe? It's a fairly large format printer from what I can see. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering about the quality on it. Hypercube Evolution. What's the build area of that one? Let's see. Looks like an interesting printer. Yeah, let me see if that downloaded. Let's see. I thought setup was downloading. It didn't download. What in the world? Okay, let's get back over here. Okay. Oh, I see, because I selected the one that's blacked out. In the world, let's see. Okay, so why isn't it downloading? Oh, I see. There we go. Now it's downloading. Apparently you have to go to the GitHub in order to get to it. And you got to select the right one for you, whatever software you're, like Windows 64, 64-bit or whatever. Extract all. Let's throw it over there. It reminds me too. I got a 3 gigabyte, or no, 3 gigabyte, 3 terabyte hard drive for Christmas. I need to get that put in this computer pretty soon. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay. Ah, Windows doesn't like it. Why doesn't Windows like it? Windows isn't letting me open it. Windows says it's evil. In that case, let's go ahead and get that off there. Something ain't right with that one. I guess I'll wait till another day to play with it. What did I think of the Artillery 3D quality control? Artillery 3D, the quality control on the particular printer I got was, I would say, kind of mediocre. And the reason why I say that, because it did not have the nozzle on the end of the blower. There was a couple nuts and bolts that were kind of loose in the box, but it wasn't anything so major that where I would have had a cow over it. If it was my very first printer and didn't know where things were supposed to go, it could have been a problem. As far as the nozzle, all I had to do is contact them, and they sent me the STL file, and I printed the nozzle, no problem at all. Just use a little bit of glue to hold it in place. But I mean, so far I'm actually very impressed with the printer. It's really, I hate to say for the price, because I believe it is a $600 printer, which is going to be higher than what you're going to find with a TiVo, which is going to be pretty much a direct competitor with it. But at the same time, it does have the direct drive, which is something that I really do like. Thank you, Eddie. It says, be careful, this site might be harmful. What? So Bruce has got a harmful sight now? What in the world? Or is Windows just being really mean? Mr. Carosine says that's higher than the MK2s. That's correct, but the MK2s also don't have a build volume of 300 by 300 by 400. And that's one thing that the Artillery 3Ds got going on, is that build volume. With that said, though, you can get into a TiVo for a little bit less. But once again, I've got to print something big to see exactly what the print quality is going to be with it. Drivers and apps. Okay. That one's downloading. At least that's what it told me earlier it was going to download. But let's try it now and see if that works. Yeah, right now it looks like it's downloading. Okay, thank you very much, Eddie. Yeah, I clicked on it. Windows didn't complain yet, so I think we're good. I like a direct drive because the retraction isn't. You don't have to worry about retraction as much as you do with the Bowden. With the Bowden, from what I've seen, you have to have. To me, seems like an insane amount of retraction in order to keep it from oozing. Where with a direct drive, about 3 millimeter of retraction is more than enough to stop it from oozing. The other thing is, if there's a break in the filament, it's a lot easier to get it out of the direct drive. At least to me, it seems like it is, because it's a matter of just pulling it straight up compared to having to fish it out of a Bowden tube. Plus, with a Bowden tube, you do have a chance of, if your filament, if you've had a lot of retractions and your filament starts to get that powdery stuff on it, it'll do like a sand hitch inside that Bowden tube. Where with a direct drive, there's less of the PTF tubing or anything that way to bind up. He says the difference in trying to push a wet noodle up a hill from the end, or if it pushing it up in a hill from the front, or pulling it for that matter. That's pretty much that's a good explanation of it. Like, I like to take and push my filament through to see how much tension there is, so I know whether I need to turn the temperature up, turn it down, or anything like that. And with a Bowden setup, you find yourself having to push a whole lot harder to get the same amount of filament to come out that you do with a direct drive. It's just kind of still not a pull. Okay. There's just something about a direct drive. I just like it. It seems like it's simpler. That's one thing I loved about the Me Creator too, is that with a direct drive, I just have very little problems with it. My very first Bowden experience with a Bowden was on the E180, and it was fine because the Bowden tube wasn't that long on it, honestly, so it wasn't horrible. But then as I started getting into the printers that had the longer Bowden tubes, that's when I started learning that you had to have like 6.5 millimeter retraction in order to get the same difference that a 3 millimeter retraction would do you with a direct drive. and ain't that direct drive. Forgive me, but I'll pass. Yeah, you're exactly right on that 3D. You're exactly right. If you push via Bowden, the path is longer inside the tube compared to pulling, where the path is shorter. So the quality of the tube is kind of important. That's where Capricorn tubing really kind of comes in. The Capricorn tubing is supposed to be the best when it comes to all that. I do have a couple machines with Capricorn, and I can tell you that it seems like they run better. I might just be the placebo effect. I don't know, but to me, they just seem like they work better. But Aaron, I like my house. I like my house. I don't want to burn it down. Yeah, sure. I do have a fireball, so I might be all right. Okay, I'm totally going to go do this for you, Eddie. If you do need Capricorn tubings, you go to captubes.com. Use the code Eddie_Moser for 15% off. There you go. I might just do that too. Capricorn has a quite consistent inner diameter that makes it more slippery. Yeah, that's what I've understood. And I've seen so many pictures where they go and they show the tubing from the end and oh well, it looks like it's off centered. Well, so what if it's off centered? If it's the same diameter all the way down, I would much rather have something that is uniform all the way down rather than centered. If it was a piece that would actually wear out, that's another matter. But you're running a filament down a tube, it's not going to have a lot of wear and tear on that tube, I don't think, unless you're using maybe something like what's that called? Carbon fiber or something like that might eat away at the tubing, but not very likely. Yeah, I bet that did fix it, Eddie. And that's the other thing too. Is Capricorn is supposed to work out better for higher temperatures, if I remember right. This is one of those situations where I selected a model that I thought would work, and now I'm questioning whether the model actually has texture to it or not. I won't know until I print something else. So I'm not sure exactly how much of this is actually from over extrusion or how much of it might be from texture. Really? With Eddie's code, it's only $10 for a meter of tube? Oh, wow. That's less than what I paid on Amazon. Eddie, you need to make a website. Store.eddiemoser.com. I'll shill for you, Eddie. I'll shill for you. I use Capricorn tubing. How come they don't give me a coupon code? Man. Oh, they sponsor you. That's why. Bill, they sponsor me. I'd have Capricorn tubing on everything. I'd figure out stuff to put Capricorn tubing on that didn't need any Capricorn tubing. I'd probably wear it around my neck on all of my videos just so I could have Capricorn tubing. Have a Capricorn tubing necklace, have Capricorn tubing bracelets, have it hanging from the ceiling so everybody can see there's Capricorn tubing hanging down from the ceiling. How you doing, Matthew? Thank you for joining. Eddie says he's got Capricorn tubing on everything. Everything, Eddie? Everything. If it fits, put some Capricorn on it. That's awesome. Uh-oh. I see fighting words. I'm going to step off here to the side while Eddie and 3D go at it. Oh, Eddie. This just in. Cap 2 is proud to be a great replacement for you. Oh, goodness. If only they had that back when Lorena Bobbitt did what she did. Oh, goodness. What's this? I saw they're making an ABC movie on that. What in the world, man? Why in the world would they want to resurrect a dismembered member? What in the world? All kinds of notifications. Yeah, I wonder if they'll cover his second career. So, did they put a wire in it, or what did they do? Is he like? Remember what was that? Gumby and Pokey. Remember those animated things where you can like they had the wires through the arms and the legs, and you can like pose them. I wonder if that if that's how they fixed it. Oh goodness. Supposedly all the nerves were reattached. Man. Could you imagine those doctor visits after that operation? Okay, does it can you feel this right here? No? How about that? Oh goodness. I'll probably lose all my subscribers by the time this print stops. Oh. Man, phone's making all kinds of noises here. Excuse me while I see what's going on. Yeah, let's check that out a little bit later. Come on, Eddie. Take one for the team. Hey, they got tested out somehow. Yeah, looks like a little mosquito flying around the 3D printer here. I don't know if that even got caught on camera or not, but it was right over there by the print. Just trying to figure out how to get back here at me. I'm starting to think that's got some texture on it. Well, 3D, the reason why is because he didn't use Capricorn tubing. Capricorn tubing slips in a lot easier than your standard. Oh, God. Hey, that's something I'll have to check out. Start going into the catheter business. It does look nice, and it runs fairly quiet. I mean, you definitely can hear the movements and everything. It's not got the really quiet drivers to it. With that said, I would need to look at the electronics on this one to see whether the electronics, the stepper drivers could be changed out. Yeah, the ball at the end is always the thing that gets you. Then they got to drain all the water out when they're. I think they do it with water. I don't think they do it there. I think it's water if I remember right. Open it up. Open it up. That'll be on another stream. Yeah, if you'd upgrade to those drivers, I bet it would be silent. The fans on this one are a lot quieter. They are larger fans from what the previous 3D printers that they've had. So I think these fans will last a lot longer and be quieter. And if it had the quieter drivers to it, I think it would be great. Yeah, the flash with those TMC drivers, though, that thing is insanely quiet. That's one thing I do love about that printer is how quiet it is. I need to bring it back over here and start printing with it again because on that one I had some issues and I got them fixed. So I need to start printing with it more to make sure everything's the way it's supposed to be now. DigiKey. I'll have to check them out. Yeah, my dad used to have it done every so often, and there was times where they actually sent him with the bag. And I remember one time, I forget if it was my mom or who it was, accidentally stepped on the bag. Yeah, that was rough. Let's put it this way, stuff wasn't meant to go back up the tube, but it did. Oh my goodness. I must say, now that it's getting up higher, I can see a more pronounced difference in the color than I did down there at the very beginning of it. And I'm not sure if that's just lighting or if it honestly is changing color better. I do know that I need to increase the purge because it's just not enough purging going on to really separate those colors. One thing that throws me off on this printer every time I look in that camera is those white stripes on the frame. Because all of this style printer that I've received from Geeetech, all of them are blue, and this one's got the white. And every time I look in there, I'm like, what in the world's going on with my camera? I gotta talk to Calvin about his E-step video. He needs to make it easier. It's gonna totally make him mad whenever I talk to him about it. He's gonna be hating on me. Yeah, you know, everybody needs to learn how to hook it to their computer and do it the right way. Well, just tell them to turn the dial. Come on. See if I can harass him and get him on here. Let's see here. How do I want to harass him? Doesn't look like he's in the mood. Got to figure out another model to print on this thing to really test out the two color printing. Let's see, and I did knock that down to 200 degrees, right? Yeah, I did. The string is not as bad as it was, but it's still present. Let me zoom in on this model. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's supposed to be textured on the model. It's definitely textured on here. Ah. Yeah, I'll let the thing finish and then we'll go from there. I'll try a different model and just see if that works any better later on. Definitely want to save this profile. You've got a model of yourself, Eddie? How'd you do that? Is it two color? Actually, was really surprised that the lights haven't went out. The wind has been just gusting out there this evening. Supposed to have a pretty good sized storm coming in tonight and tomorrow. So one reason why I didn't want to just leave this going overnight out here, I'd rather it be turned off and just in case we have any kind of a thunderstorm or anything come through. I've got power strips on everything where it should be safe, but I just rather it not be on while the storm's coming through. Excuse me. I talked to my wife the other day about getting a soldering iron, well, soldering set. Over on Twitter, I shared a picture of one that I was looking at, and I actually found a U.S. seller that had it cheaper and it was faster delivery. I'm supposed to be getting this soldering station probably Friday. I think it's supposed to come in, and it's way overkill, and it's probably not near as good as what I'm going to think it is. But it's one of those that's got the soldering iron where it's adjustable. It's all digital where you can adjust the temperature on it, and then it's also got the like a heat gun or something like that for reflowing, which I'll probably never get around to doing. But I've always heard that if you get a soldering iron, get one that's got adjustable temperature because it's a lot easier to make it work. Because all of them I've ever got in the past are the little cheap ones that you get from Harbor Freight or Sears or wherever, or Radio Shack, and they've always burned up the tips like crazy because it's always set for a high temperature. So it's going to be interesting to actually get one that's supposed to have adjustable temperature and where you can change the tips and stuff. It's going to be interesting to give that a shot. I've got once I start practicing and get a little bit decent at soldering, I got a gate opener I'm wanting to pull the circuit board out on and see if I can figure out what's wrong with it and get it fixed. I really thought about contacting Chuck and see if he'd be interested to look at it, but I figure it's a good opportunity for me to get into it and see, start playing around with some electronics that way. Yeah, I bought it from everybody's favorite website on Facebook. Wish.com. I've actually bought a lot of stuff on Wish. Wish isn't bad. I mean, there are some companies that come on there that are fly by night, just like with that 3D printer that came out a while back that was a joke. Everybody knew it was a joke, but they went ahead and they did it anyway because the cool thing about Wish is they do protect the people who buy from them. So it wasn't a deal where the person was going to get away with it, but you just never know. It's like back when I bought my very first 3D printer, the Geeetech Aluminum i3. Not even 2 weeks before, I saw a auction for it was the first version of the Wanhao that came out. And I actually was going to bid on it. And I thought, nah, what's the use? I'm never going to win it. They've been going for about $400 at the time. And I didn't place a bid, and I didn't realize it was a no reserve bid auction. So you could have won it for $1. Well, somebody won it for $1. All they had to do is pay, I think it was $50 for shipping. And I kicked myself ever since then. So whenever I see something like that on a reputable site that way, I'll just go ahead and I'll try it. Because you never know. But one of these other sites where you've never dealt with them before and you see a 3D printer for $59. Calvin did that on one of those sites and he ended up getting a pair of sunglasses. So he got a fairly pricey pair of sunglasses out of the deal. But the thing is, it's supposed to be a 3D printer, not a pair of sunglasses. The good thing about Wish, they do protect the buyers, especially if you use PayPal with it. And that's what I always do. I get the double protection by using PayPal and then buy from Wish. And then anything comes up, you just tell Wish, and then they'll refund you. And I actually got my notification today that's supposed to be delivered Friday. So we'll see how that turns out. And the next thing I do is I got to get me some Antec flux. And some leaded solder. And some Geeetech. Oh, man. I've always wondered where Theresa would be whenever I'd be doing a stream and she never come on. Then I found out over the last 2 days where she spends her time. I feel betrayed. I'm just kidding. Well, I think we're coming toward the end of it soon here. Oh, no. It has to be leaded solder. Unleaded solder is what the MacBooks have. The leaded solder removes the unleaded solder. At least that's what I understand, at least. Unleaded solder, i.e. silver solder. Now we're slowing down now. It's quit doing its purging, so looks like we are finally coming toward the end. You can definitely tell the color difference after it's been able to print continuously with the yellow. It's definitely needs more purge. That was a lot of homing right there. What was that? 3 clicks on each of the bills? Okay. Nice. You can see all the hairs. Look at the hair. Oh, goodness. So let me go ahead, hit this with a heat gun, if I can find it. Oh. I think my bottom has become one with this chair. That hurt standing up. Okay, let's hit this. Okay. That'll work. Let me go over there closer to the camera. Let's show this off. Yeah, as you can see, I definitely got some issues with over extrusion because of those little globs there. But what's weird is on this side it didn't. That's not as bad. Not as bad, but you can still see the roughness to it. It's definitely from over extrusion. Some of that could be from the little hairs going to the prime tower. But definitely you have to work on the larger purge block. As you can see up here where it's had some time to actually print. Let's get some, there we go. That it cleared up. Yeah, all it really did is just kind of mix the colors. So I definitely needed to add more purge into it. I think it'll be decent. Plus, probably using a neon filament probably wasn't the best idea in the world for 2 different colors. But, oh well. Let's see here. Yeah, good enough. Oh, goodness. Pull the monitor back over. Well, I think that's going to do it. Thank you very much for joining me, keeping me company while I was watching this thing to make sure it printed all right. Yeah, that prime tower didn't exactly give it enough time to purge it. Anyway, don't know until you try. It's a good start. At least it's printing better than what it did yesterday. Because if you remember right, yesterday that was the best I could do. that was the best I could do yesterday. And that wasn't going to cut it. But guys, thank you for joining me. And I'll keep playing with the profile and eventually I'll get it straightened out. But until then, I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good night. Thank you.